What's going on, guys? This is Zach from AUXORO, and welcome to another one of these solo morning recordings. And I want to restate, and I'll keep restating, that this is like an audio podcast journal. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's video too. But think of this as like a podcast journal. These are my thoughts for the morning. I've tried journals. I've tried writing it out, and it has a lot of benefits for some people, but for me, I did it for about a year and a half, and I was feeling burnt out from journaling, and I started just recording things out loud and formulating thoughts, and this allows me to practice for the podcast. And so I'm going to pick a different topic each morning, and I'm going to talk about it and formulate that thought in real time. And this morning I want to talk about why it's good to be alone and why it's good to spend time alone. There's a quote from David Whyte. David Whyte is a writer, he's a poet, and he released a series of meditations on the Waking Up app by Sam Harris. And these are meant to be just that, meditations. He reads his writings out loud, and you focus on the words like you would your own thoughts in a meditation. And he released a meditation called Alone, and one of the things he said about being alone in this poem was, when we're alone, or when we are alone, we are with ourselves as a question rather than a statement. When we're alone, we're with ourselves as a question rather than a statement. And when I heard this during the meditation, it completely blew me away, because I had never really formulated the words of what it feels like to be alone. And when I heard that, it put the words to this feeling that I have and why I love spending so much time alone. And it's that when I'm alone, I don't have the pressure to cast this outwards projection of myself to other people and say, this is who I am in the world. I'm a podcaster, I'm an athlete, I'm fit, I'm attractive, I'm making a lot of money. I don't have the pressure when I'm alone to make a lot of statements. I'm not trying to assert myself out into the world and make people think something else about me or think a certain way about me. I don't feel that pressure. When I'm alone, though, I'm with myself as a question. I'm asking myself things. Things are popping up in my head, especially when I'm taking walks. I love being alone on walks with no music every day. To break up the day, I'll go for a 20, 30-minute walk, and these things pop up in my head. Like, why am I podcasting? I think about that a lot. What is the deeper meaning behind podcasting? Is it the connection? Is it the actual conversation itself? Is it the research? Is it the technical aspect? And I ask myself questions like, am I doing podcasting the way that I want to do it, or am I projecting, am I being swayed by what's worked for other people and then projecting that onto myself? When I'm alone, I'm asking myself a ton of questions. I'm not trying to make a statement with my behavior or my looks or my work. And that allows me the freedom to think. It allows me the freedom to dive deep, and it allows you the freedom to learn. When I'm with myself, I learn a lot because I'm asking questions. You have to ask questions in order to learn, and I ask questions about myself. I ask questions about, am I balancing my family, my friends, my work? When I hear about my other friends and people I know doing exciting things, I ask myself, why do I feel jealous that this person is making more money than me, or this person has opportunities? I should be inspired by that, and I should put that towards my own work. So a lot of times I'll go for a walk alone when I'm feeling jealousy. And then I try to carry that questioning of aloneness into the space when I'm with other people, because I want to continue to ask questions. I don't want to be the guy who shows up at a party, or who shows up at a gathering, who shows up at whatever it is, and just keeps, just trying to make statements all the time. Like, here I am, here I am. And that can be great. You need to make statements. You need to be confident in who you are, but you also need to open the door and leave that door cracked open to always be willing to ask a question, and to look like an idiot, and to admit that you're not the smartest person in the room, and that you have something to learn from everyone that you encounter. That's why it's good to be alone for me. And again, what David White said in the Waking Up app, when you're alone, you're with yourself as a question rather than a statement. I need that. I want that. And those questions are always changing. It's not like you're alone and then you spend time for a month and it's like, all right, great, I don't need to be alone for the next month or year or whatever. It's not something you can just get out of the way, because as your life evolves, those questions evolve. More people come into your life, people go out of your life, opportunities come into your life, opportunities go out of your life. And so you're always in a position where you should be asking yourself more questions. And I remind myself of that. And so I would encourage you to make sure you're making time to ask yourself the questions, to maybe turn off the podcast for a little bit, turn off the other people making statements in your head, whether it's you're reading or you're listening to a podcast or watching TV. Embrace that void when you're alone and dive into it and ask yourself, what do I really want to do? What is the reason? What is the purpose behind the work? What is my overarching goal? Something that I ask myself all the time is, what is my personal compounding advantage? And I believe I heard that from James Clear, a question to ask yourself, what is your personal compounding advantage? And your personal compounding advantage is the skill that you're working on every day that makes you do that thing better than anyone else. When you continue to work on a skill, just like you invest money, that skill compounds. And then 10, 20 years from now, you have millions, possibly billions of dollars worth of value you can provide through your skills. And it's just like money. And so for me, I have written on my whiteboard, my personal compounding advantage is podcasting and conversations, and having these 2-hour deep dive, well-researched conversations. That is how I want to focus my time. And so if I have other opportunities that align with that, I will go forth with those opportunities if it works out for both parties. If I have other opportunities that are lucrative, but it takes away from my personal compounding advantage, maybe I won't do that. So something to think about when you're alone. Take some time alone today. Walk, meditate, run, sit, whatever you do. The important thing is that you're sitting alone with your thoughts, you're asking yourself questions, you're letting things pop up, you're leaving space for your mind to wander, so that when you do go out into the world and you make statements, those will be statements grounded in a foundational understanding of yourself. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you next time.